Welcome to Conversations with Deepak. My guest today is a unique personality. I've known him as a kitchen designer, as a leader of kitchen businesses at various companies. I've also known him to be a chef, but now he's an author. This is his latest avatar, in which he has written a book called Modular Kitchens Planning and Designing Guidelines. Hello,
Yeah.
Gopal. How are you?
uh, Hi, Deepak. Thank you. Thank you for the nice introduction. I'm good. It's doing good.
Let me get straight to the point.
Sure, sure.
What motivated you to write this book?
So, Deepak, you are aware, and definitely we know each other from a longer time now, that I'm in this industry from year 2005 precisely. So it's now 16th year I completed in this industry. I started journey with a brand name Sleek International, and from there also till today, what I understood and what I not only understood, but at the same time I realized that the modular kitchen subject is a very vast subject. It is just not a piece of furniture. It is just not, you something you just can go to some showroom and you just can simply buy by paying money and you can come back. Even if you have a good budget also, you sometime you can end up with a very bad experience. And if you have sometime very less budget also, you can end up with a very good kitchen, very functionally, and very aesthetically beautiful kitchen. This all depends upon a skill and the product available in the market and the knowledge. But what happened with all the 15, 16 year of the experience, I found no place, no book, no content which is so organizedly and stepwise written that how to make a modular kitchen even. I struggled for many, many years just to explain the designers that what exactly the modular world itself meaning is. People don't understand that why it says modular means what. Like, is it? It's just like maybe something which is coming from a factory. It may be a modular, or they don't understand. So I realized that, and I work with many, many different kind of projects. Like, there are projects where I used to deliver 400 kitchen in a one shot, and there are projects where one single kitchen costs 40 lakh rupees, 45 lakh rupees. So it's like sometime the size in the kitchen is too heavy in price. Sometime the quantum is too high. The number of kitchen is too high. In the whole journey of various companies, there was no such document which is readily available to read for somebody at the time of joining a company. Everybody is struggling, each and every company is struggling with something, a nice document, and they make something which is suitable to their rules or maybe to their material, to their library. But in that case, what happens, every time somebody join to the company, the knowledge which they gain as an interior designer become useless for those kitchen companies which hire the employees or the designers. They need to start the whole journey or the training from the zero. So the initial precious, I think, 1 month or 2 month time, everybody is spending the time, resources in training to teach the particular style of a kitchen design what they sell to that particular employee. Now it's all upon the capacity and the capability of that individual person, that how he is grabbing this serious topic or this serious product knowledge within a month or two, and then immediately start delivering to the customers. For me, I feel each customers bring a budget, something which is more than 2 to 3 lakh rupees. So it is like each and every customer is like a customer who's come to buy a car. Now you cannot hand over somebody, such a precious customer, to somebody who has just started training on a subject of a 2 months training or 1.5 month training. And that is also one of the major reason that a lot of companies found this is very difficult to once hire and then retain that particular staff to keep doing the same business of designing the kitchen, explaining this product, and then making the proposal as per the customer requirement and then sell it. So it become very very difficult. And then I found this problem is the magnitude of the problem is too big, but nobody is working on that. Then I try to search many institutions. I try to contact with them. I have many friends who are into the good design field. They have their establishments, they have their factories and all this, but nobody has given me any authentic document which I can say a book, which as a designer I should start learning before going into this field. And that make me realize that this industry, which is in only, if I talk about the organized part of it, is more than 6,000 crore in India. In a amount, this industry size has no organized document to read for a designer who want to pursue a career into this. But this field has a fantastic career line available. There are a lot of opportunities from the site supervisor to the designer to the salesman to the showroom manager. There are a lot of opportunities available, all useless if you don't know A to Z about the whole modular kit. That make me realize that there is a need. Somebody should come up and at least document all this knowledge which is available. I don't say that I did some wonderful research, no. Sorry, if I anywhere if anywhere I'm trying to say that I invented something, no, 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 I invented nothing. I documented all the knowledge. I gave them a right sequence of learning. And yes, the 16 year of the experience which I gained, work with lot of experienced people in this industry. At the same time, I also developed some of my own theories which are practical enough because I did a lot of sales job also and design job also. I also had a heading a team which has more than 2,200 interior designers working together at the same company. So that experience helped me to uh, give some more fundas, or you can some more ideas which helps to give a proper solution to the customer. And that can be, I can say, that can be one of the contribution I had in this book, as a part one part. But most of the part, I can say 75% of the book is basically the knowledge which is available across the industry, the knowledge which I gained from the maestros of these industries which already working from many many years. They have the factories, they have the brands, and I learned from them. I documented them. I assure that what I'm writing to check with the other journals and documents available with European brands, and also some of the visits and to the various exhibitions helps me to verify what I am writing. And that was the main reason. So the void, the lack of availability of the literature of this industry was one and only the point of motivation to start writing something. And when I started, I was not very sure that this will end up with so much sequential document. But fortunately, when I send the scripts to the experts of the industry for the preview, they found it really useful, and they give me more motivation that yes, the direction is to right. It's going into very right direction. This is something which we all think that we should have, but nobody initiated. You initiate it, so you should go ahead and do it. And that gives me more motivation, and I put some more energy into it. And that's it. That is something which come out as a, as I can say, a book in a form of 240 pages, which is nicely has all the information which one can document in at least as in first edition.
How did this book develop as you went along in this project? When did you start, and how long did it take you, and how did the entire project develop till the time you reached this stage of having a bundle of pages, so to say?
So if honestly, if you ask me how much time this book took to write, it took 16 years to write the book, because writing means just not simply start typing on some of the editor software. Basically, it was a collection of the knowledge which I earn and learn in this whole career which I had. But honestly, yeah, if giving a shape to the whole thought and ideas, I started working this 1.5 year back exactly, and it took me almost seven and a half months to you know uh, write it completely, write it down. So in this book, most of the part is basically, you can say that there's a lot of graphics and line arts and then a lot of diagrams, and which then I did myself, and I did help of few of the colleagues which works with me in the whole journey of 16 years. I had a lot of, I have a lot of good earnings in terms of getting a people, such kind of peoples who have a specialty in some of the field. Like there are some good illustrators, and there are some of good who good artists who can convert my ideas into the design and all these things. So that is all together make it. So I can say it's practically making a book and converting into a document took almost 7 to 8 months.
So, as you mentioned earlier, that this book is meant for everyone who's involved in the kitchen business, whether he's a salesperson or a manufacturer or a designer. Uh,
Definitely.
is that right?
This is definitely right. This book is talking about all the fundamentals of the modular kitchen. Either you are working not only in the sales field, but if even if you are working in the factory itself, you should know what exactly the type of material you may be dealing in, or what material has a quality. Even even if you are aware about the toughness of or strength of a the difference between the particle board and the ply, it helps you to change when you need to change the spindle, or when you need to change the cutter blade. uh, that kind of knowledge can gain somebody by reading the book, because otherwise you need to be dependent on somebody who is teaching you with their personal experience, but you cannot contribute anything. But if actually you are reading this book and going to the site, or say, I can say, if you are going to the field where exactly you're working, then you have some of the very very basic informations which are very much needed. Those information will help you to perform your task in a very good manner. Those fundamentals basically nobody teaches you, until and unless there is a very specific way of training in a company, or there is a specific methodology is used in any of the company at the time of recruitment, that okay, from the first day to 15 day you are really going into a training program, and then you are going into the shop floor, or then you are going into the field, then okay. But I don't think so that most of the companies has a such kind of a training arrangement, because everybody want to immediately start using the employee the moment they hire them. So I say that those fundamental informations somebody should have are the part of this book, and these are written in such a sequential manner that the book is divided into equally three different parts, where first part says basically about what exactly the modular kitchen is, and then second important part says that what is the planning of the modular kitchen, like how you should plan it, and then goes to the how you should design it. This is the first time you can see a document which is available who say the designing at the last third part. It doesn't mean that designing has a least important. It means that designing has a very high importance, but you should know the planning before designing, and you should know the fundamental even before the planning. So it says about the ladder of the knowledge you should have. You should first know the fundamentals of the modular, then only you will be able to plan a given space. And once you know the planning of a space, then only you should go into the designing. The direct jump into the designing, which normally a basic mistake done by the all designers who come from small designing any designing schools, they start designing a kitchen first. which is basically completely wrong practice. One should not do that without even planning it or without knowing, understanding the product itself.
That's a very interesting insight
Yeah.
that you have shared, and it shows your 16 years of experience all permeating into this book. Let's have a look at this very interesting creative that you have developed for the book. You've dedicated an entire chapter to consultative approach to kitchen designing.
Yes.
What do you mean by this? Consultative
The
approach to
consultative,
kitchen
the
designing.
consultative approach, Deepak, is the key to the success in this field. Everybody can be designer. Everybody can be a designer. But a designer who cannot sell the design is useless. You can be a very passionate designer. You can develop your own style, or you can do a wonderful design. But if you cannot sell your design, you maybe sometime you can remain in a company as in a decorative position, but after some time you need to prove your worth in terms of the conversion. When I say conversion means really you want to sell the kitchen. Now to sell the kitchen, what you need to do is that once, either you can just make a wonderful design and just tell the customer that okay, this is a design, it costs you X, and if customer like that, they will buy it. Or otherwise you may be selling through a models, or the models which are displayed at their studio, or maybe a catalog. But basically, I believe that kitchen is not a product. This is my very personal theory, and I tried to prove it many times, and I got succeed to prove it that kitchen is basically not a product. You cannot just show it and you cannot sell it. Kitchen is basically a solution you need to provide. Kitchen is basically a outcome of a problem of a family or a user, which is given, which comes with a space which available. Then they also come with some of their practices. They also come up with some of their beliefs, some of their system of working, some of their storage ideas, some of their buying practices, some of their cooking practices, some of their family members' rituals, their cultures together, all together make that space. Now you cannot keep something on the shelf available product that okay, X plus Y plus Z, this is your product, go buy, I'm making a kitchen. Making a kitchen is actually a complete process. It is exactly the same way when you go to your physician or your family doctor and with some of your problems, they doesn't immediately open a drawer and just give you a medicine. They'll let you sit you down. They tell you to ask what is the problem is. Then you need to explain the way what exactly you are feeling, how you are feeling, which part of the body hasn't experienced the problem. That still is not sufficient. Then doctor need to do the physical examination. They use their gadgets, they use their way of examining you. Then they have a set of questions which they ask you. They also ask you about the history, that what exactly happened, when happened, what kind of food you are eating, what is your habit, how much sleep do you have, do you do the exercise or not. This all background check. Then finally the physical examination, and then finally at the end of that, if he required, he also do some of the reports. Then they check the reports and finally they come up with some of the solution, which is actually a very very personal solution for X person. I cannot replicate the same solution to my brother or my wife if she is having similar symptoms. She again need to go to the doctor and tell the whole story, and doctor will definitely make another prescription which maybe might not be matching with mine. Kitchen has the same thing. Kitchen is something which need to make prepare as a solution for an individual family who are using the kitchen. So that is the reason this the consultative approach need to be you can say it is like a sitting, you know, sitting with a person, sitting with a user, and you have a set of questions with you which explain you that what kind of solution you should need. With the help of just one question, I can explain you that why consultative discussion is different than just selling a product. That if I ask you as a user, you come to me to buy a kitchen, and if I ask you just one question, which is a one question out of my 20 question, but it changed the entire perspective of the whole design. I ask you that the kitchen which you want to make is for what use? This is my question. And I can give you three options. Are you making a kitchen for yourself? Are you making a kitchen to make a kitchen and then give this home on a rent? Or are you making this kitchen just for your weekend home, which you are going to stay for some time, once in a month or twice in a month, because that's your weekend place? Now, the all three scenario, you came as a kitchen customer, and I am a kitchen designer, but your one answer will change the entire solution and make it completely different. Now you can either choose that no, I am going to make the kitchen for myself. The whole study will change. If you say no, I want to make a kitchen just to fulfill as in kitchen, and I just want to give this home as in on a rent, then the entire thought process of making the kitchen will change, including the material and budget and design. Everything will change. And if you say no, the kitchen is for my weekend home, then still, then the kitchen will be completely third different kitchen. Now that's just the power of one consulting question, which as a designer, if I missed to ask you, and if I start working on a drawing board or a software, I maybe end up with some very very beautiful wonderful kitchen. But when I come to you as a solution, you may say no, 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 this is what not I want. I just want to give this on a rent. Why I will spend 5 lakh rupees for this? And then I will say, oh, I need to ask this question first, that what is the use of the kitchen? See, this is what the consultative. If you don't consult somebody, if you don't consult a customer with the right question, you will never get a right input for your work. And then what you will do, you will just end up with a some unwanted solution, and that can be come in front of you as in some surprise, and that can crack the complete conversation, or you can lose the customer, or the customer may immediately have a feeling that no, no, this is somebody who don't understand my requirement. Because you just come that, okay, you want a kitchen, okay, this is the space, let's start designing the kitchen. So consultation, for me, consultation is a big investment. I can change the whole conversion ratio in this industry, where the modular kitchen is selling. An average modular kitchen has 3 to 4 lakh rupees budget for each deal. If I talk in a very 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 shrewd businessman language, if each and every lead has an 3 to 4 lakh rupees of worth, I cannot I cannot lose a customer just because I didn't ask them a right question. So if I ask them a right question, if I do consultancy, then the customer will remain with me. The second and most important benefit is that when you consult with somebody, you ask them questions. Those questions should be very, very, very powerful, meaningful, and they should be very useful for your making the final outcome. So asking them a very simple question, that are you a right hand user or left hand user, sometimes amuse the customer. That why nobody asked me this question. Nobody asked me in the industry this question, that am I a right hand user or left hand user. The customer may be surprised for a bit of moment, but when they understand that why you are asking this question, and when I say that if you're a right hander, then I need to make a space for making chapati in your right hand of your chula, not in the left hand of your chula. because you are going to use this kitchen, and I know that what is the process of making a chapati. You don't make a chapati in the front of your chula, you make a chapati in the side of your chula, and then you put it on the gas stove. And then maybe a fraction of second your customer maybe stop, but they get impressed by the way you consult them. You understood their problem. You ask them that you buy a grocery for a 6 month, or you buy a grocery for a week, or you buy a grocery for a year. And they may ask you why you're asking the question. And then I should tell them that if you, as a the person from a Rajasthan or maybe a Udaipur, a small city, I can tell you my experience. My mother still buy a rice for a year, but don't use this year. The rice is used next year. It is just like a wine. That is the theory. The rice is become more and more aromatic and tasty once you keep them for another year. So what rice I am consuming was bought a 2 year back. I am consuming right now. It means in my kitchen somewhere there is a space of 2 year of consumption of the rice. Now this, if I don't know, and if I'm just a graduate designer from a school, and I just am designing your serious working place which is called a kitchen, and if I don't know that to make a 2 years rice need a space of a 15 kg, how much space it required, then I may end up with very smart, a very designer kitchen, but a very useless kitchen which doesn't fit for the purpose, actual purpose. So those fundamental questions during the consulting has a two benefit. One benefit is that you really understand the core of the family, the need of the family. You really understand the culture of the family, and while you design something, you really incorporate all those needs, and you actually get a very very happy customer. And that time, the aesthetic of the kitchen sometimes has a lesser degree, but the convenience has a more degree of satisfaction when you deliver such product. Number one benefit is. Second benefit is that the confidence which is earned by you by asking right question to the customer, that that increase the rate of conversion. Now this is a pure business. When I ask serious question, when you believe me as a designer, then you believe me as a consultant. And normally I personally see that people don't argue with the consultant, they argue with the designer, right? They do the negotiation with the designer, but once they surrender in front of somebody as a consultant, and they will only surrender when you ask them the right questions, and when you ask them the right question with the right solution. Then after some time, 2 3 or 4 questions, your customer will almost, maybe the surrender maybe not the very right word, but yeah, they will say that okay, at least I am in a front of a right person who know everything about designing a kitchen. So let at least rest assured that the outcome will be good. This is the benefit of the consultancy. So consultancy is an investment which you need to do to create a better conversion. And in this industry, you anyway you have a very less leads, because a lot of players, you get a customer, and once you get a customer, you can't afford to just lose a customer कि एक नहीं तो दूसरा आ जाएगा, दूसरा नहीं तो तीसरा आ जाएगा. So that is the role of the consultant. And when you go to somebody, and when you found somebody asking you a serious meaningful questions, you start believing that particular person, and that is what something which help you to create the conversion. That is my fundamental of the whole book, which I can say, the if I say the core, this is a core, that if you cannot prove yourself as a kitchen consultant, then just being mere a kitchen designer will just, the customer will treat you just as a designer, and they will end up with only one thing, which is how much discount you are giving. That's it.
So it's very important for everyone in the trade to realize that selling a kitchen is more than simple sale of boxes. It's more of a consultation where a lot of soul and passion and understanding and empathy needs to be
It is a serious business, Deepak. It is a serious business. It is going into the shoes of the customer and feeling
Right.
that, and then accordingly, talking about the language, you need to change your tonality, you need to change your language, you need to change your offering. Suddenly you need to change everything, whatever. So sometime your internal designer should be kept aside, and you need to be real customer. You need to feel. Sometime it happens that you feel कि ऐसा किचन तो नहीं बनाना था मुझे, बट नहीं, वो आपको आपका किचन नहीं है, बेसिकली वो उस पर्सन का किचन है जिसे यूज करना है। तो डिजाइनर कभी कभी मतलब अपने आप को ओवर रूल करना पड़ता है, उसे साइड में रखना पड़ता है अपने। एक डिजाइनर का वैसे भी जो ई ई क्वेश्चन होता है वो हाई होता है, मतलब डिजाइनर वैसे भी दिमाग से नहीं दिल से सोचता है। तो मैंने इसमें मेरी बुक में ये समझाया है कि कौन सा हिस्सा जो है वो दिमाग से सोचने का और कौन सा दिल से सोचने का है।
Wonderful.
क्योंकि जब आप कंसल्टिंग कर रहे होते हैं तब आपको एक्चुअल में ये नहीं सोचना होता है कि आपको क्या अच्छा लग रहा है। आपको लाल कलर का किचन बनाना है इज नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, आपको ये सोचना होता है कि इस कस्टमर के लिए क्या चीज सही होगी। और उस समय कई बार डिजाइनर्स की ईगो जो होते हैं वो उनको थोड़ा सा डिस्टर्ब करते हैं, बट वहां पर आपको थोड़ा सा ये कंसल्टिंग अप्रोच रखनी पड़ती है। यू कैनॉट force your design and your ideas onto somebody's daily use to place where they are going to spend many years. आज आप अपने ईगो के लिए उसको एक स्पेसिफिक टाइप का डिजाइन बना के दे देंगे, दे विल रिग्रेट फॉर एवरी डे। उसको रोज इनकन्वीनियंस होगी अगर उसके लिए, तो that you cannot do that.
You've also spoken about the 6 P's of designing a kitchen space. What are these six
Uh,
P's?
yeah, so basically I that is something which I can say that in this whole duration which I personally give to this industry is this 6P process, which is my own fundamental idea. Basically it's not an idea, I can say it's a right sequence, to do the right consultancy. When you do the consultancy, you should know the sequence, you should know that how to approach and what information need in what sequence. So this 6P is basically six different information in a sequence you should know. That how to design a kitchen, you should know that what is the purpose of the kitchen. Like it's all P is start with some of the P word start, that's why it's a 6P process. But the very fundamental information you should know, which I ask you, that one question can change an entire solution. So like first you should know the purpose, that what is the purpose of this kitchen. Is this kitchen is going to used for a personal or for a some rental or for some leisure or some vacational home or kind of thing. Second important thing is you should know the place. So you should actually as a designer you should know the place, you should feel the place. Because it is just not about having a graph paper. It is not just about AutoCAD lines. Sometimes you should see the space, you should see the light arrangement, from where the natural light is coming, from where the airflow is going. Is there any way where you can exit the used air, or you need to make a chimney provision, or where's the window is, are the natural light coming into this, uh, where is the placement of the kitchen in the entire home. Like family member will move like this, they will come into the kitchen, they will go outside of the kitchen. Because kitchen is a place where not only the user comes, there are many other visitors in the kitchen also. Like your maid comes, the small kids in the family comes, the other family members also comes. They come inside, they use the refrigerator, sometime they just come to put their used dish into the sink and they go out. So the flow of the kitchen, that where the actual placement, you should know. That is what the study of the second P, which I say about the place. Third important thing which says about the placement. Placement means place and placement, there's a lot of difference between place and placement. Place is understanding the entire kitchen as a space, but placement, there are three major area in the kitchen, which I say they are hot centers. Like they are the hot activity areas. One is the refrigerator. Second is the place where you actually do the cooking, and third is the place where you do the cleaning. So it's like refrigerator, cooking, and cleaning. They all three make a triangle, which basically says a design triangle in this in this particular in this particular industry, it is known as a design triangle or a golden triangle kind of thing, working triangle, because these all three are activities area. So you should plan all these three activity area in such a manner that there is no collision, like people don't disturb each other. You cannot make a kitchen design where cooking and cleaning is just on a front and back, because sometime you are doing some activity and you just turn and there's somebody in back of you and you just bang it. It can create a like mess sometime, or because in kitchen you are dealing with very dangerous things, oil, spices, knives, all these things, they are hazardous. If you don't use the movement and don't use the space nicely, sometimes they can be very very dangerous. A detergent, which is in nature very slippery, if you just spill the detergent on the floor, and if somebody unknowingly immediately come into the kitchen, they can, there can be many accident happens in a kitchen, because kitchen has a many equipments and many other things which can be very dangerous in nature. So this three activity zone which I said, they are very very busy zone. You need to know the placement, which in the p theory, it is a third part, which is that you should understood the placement. Then you should understand the people, which comes at the fourth place, the people who are going to use this. So you need to understand that what kind of people they are using, means at least specifically in India, we each state has their own different way of cooking. Each culture has their own different way of cooking. If you don't understand the people, if you don't understand their family structure, if you don't understand the size of the family, if you don't understand their buying pattern, their storing pattern, their cooking pattern, uh, you cannot make a kitchen design correctly. You cannot even choose the right appliances for them. A person who has I can say a Marwadi family, maybe a Gujarati family who has a keep cooking, continuous cooking in the whole day, is completely different than maybe a businessman. Some family, he has only two time cooking in a home, or most of the, I can say, a new young generations, people or a couple in a Bangalore who both are working in an office, they may be cooking once in a day. Morning they do cooking, they make the chapatis for the evening also, and then they just warm the things, and sometime, most of the time, they order some food from outside for the evening, or they just go to the restaurant and they have their dinner. So there are family where the cooking is keep going in every 2 hours, start from the morning teas, from breakfast, from lunch, then afternoon, then some evening teas, and then some dinner, and there are families. And then there are many families who use kitchen only once in a day. So you need to understand the people, that what kind of people you are designing the kitchen. You need to ask about their family sizes, their practices. So that is the another p. Then you need to understand their practices, their patterns, that how they buy, what is their storage patterns, how they cook, what kind of food they cook. Like if people are more into the cooking more aromatic food, or if you are cooking a fish, and if you don't have the exhaust arrangement nicely, then it may be a pleasure cooking for you, but not for your surroundings. So there are many different kind of food which need a proper exhaust. Now if you don't know the practice of that particular family, that what kind of food you're cooking, you cannot give them a right solution. And then you finally, when you complete the project, then you regret that, oh, I didn't give the right exhaust to this particular kitchen. Now the whole smell or aroma is coming to the living room. Now this you cannot afford, right? Once you finish the project, you need to know this all first before starting the project, that okay, this particular family has a regular aromatic cooking. I need to make an arrangement of a very powerful exhaust fan. Then your selection of the chimney. So see how one question affect the entire selection of each and everything. So the selection of a chimney is basically depend on what kind of food you're making, how much oily food you're making, how much aromatic food you're making, depend on the selection of one component is known as a chimney. Similarly, you need to go deep dive into understanding to select a hob, to select a microwave, to select a oven, to select a dishwasher, to select a type of granite, that what kind of granite or a countertop you are going to use. Are you very 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 less user, you maybe go with very soft kind of material. But if you are very hardcore kitchen user, maid is supporting you in cooking, somebody another person is coming and using, now you are also chopping on the platform. Now it's not a bad, it's a right, it's an average practice in a many of the kitchens. People do chopping on a countertop, small choppings. And also is a very regular practice to make आटा गूंथना जिसको बोलते हैं ना, making dough. They sometimes people start rolling the chapatis on the granite also. So these all are practical experiences. If you don't know and if you offer them a different kind of material which doesn't support their practice, then you will regret. Then they will regret, they will never recommend you as a next customer. So in this field, consultation is very important first to win the customer, and right solution is also very important to get another customer from that customer, because the reference in this field or in this industry is very powerful. If you are making a kitchen for a society, for a person who is living in a society, like nowadays most of the people in metro cities, they stay in societies. If you do a mass to somebody, they will they will make a like a your word like a fire, they will tell the whole society in their internal chat group that okay, this designer does mass with me, don't recommend this. But at the same time, if you win the heart, if you win uh, the way they want the kitchen, you will get a very very good recommendation again and again from the same building, and you can get a lot of business. So that is what the understanding of the P helps you. People, practices, and placements, place, purpose, all this together, this 6P together will give you a complete sequence of understanding the complete method of making a kitchen, which is a part of consultancy. You can do only consultancy when you know this whole will of 6P, that how this all 6P works together and what is the sequence of this. You should know everything before. And this is what I say homework, because nowadays there are fantastic softwares available which can give you very good renders, very good 3ds, very good designs, very good budgets. All this you can make very quickly, but what you cannot make is quickly is a solution. So you should invest the time in making a solution, and to make a right solution you should always invest a time in a consultancy which will bring you the right result of what exercise you are doing.
Through this book, you are trying to raise the level of the entire industry uh, across the board, all professions, all skill sets, all functions which are connected with the modular kitchen industry. I think all of them will get impacted significantly.
My sorry to interrupt, my message to all those people who belongs to this industry, I want to tell them that at least if this if if this book save a 1 month training of a new joinees, the amount which we together as an industry saving is humongous. That is what I mean to say. And that is not only about the training. Somebody who is learning something which is similar to the industry, now you are getting, if you are getting a people who knows almost similar information, that is very useful. You go to X company, you learn something, then you go to Y company, you learn something else, and then you go to some very small Z company, they teach you something very different, and then this all mixed together will make nothing. So when you go to some another company, they will teach you from the very zero, because there is no systematic information available. So I am telling that if it books gives you your complete the journey of onboarding from it, if from 1 month, even if it bring to 15 days, the 15 days manpower saving per candidate in this industry is a big saving. So that if even if that is what I can contribute, I think my purpose is done.
I also am happy to show you the Hindi version, which you very thankfully have autographed for me.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's my
And
pleasure to. My pleasure.
and
I want to say something about this Hindi book also.
yeah,
So, if you already got this Hindi book, but if somebody else who is seeing this video or maybe this conversation, guys, if you got this Hindi book, I want to tell you that this Hindi is mostly a script Hindi. It's like a English. It is not a Hindi. I cannot convert the tactic. I don't want to convert the whole technicalities of this newly introduced subject of this market in into the modular kitchen market. I don't want to make convert into the Hindi. I just want for those peoples who are not very good in English like me. I myself consider as a very average person in English. But those people who are actually very good designer, but they don't understand, or they're not very good in reading the English. The Hindi book is required for them, but I try to keep all those technical terms which is required. I keep them as an English only. The script is only Hindi. So you can actually read the measurement as a measurement. It doesn't say map, because if I start telling the similar language to the customer after reading, then customer may get confused. So my purpose of making the translation in Hindi is to make the knowledge available for those also who are not very proficient in reading English, but they really want to do a good work in this industry, and they are good designer. And that's why I keep the all technical term in this book as in English only. It is written in a Hindi script. That is what I did. But yeah, it was a tough work, because uh, writing a technical book in English is easy rather than writing it in Hindi. And I can tell still that Google doesn't support translate things so nicely in Hindi. So you need to rewrite it. So basically it took a lot of time to rewrite it. So the whole book actually rewritten again in a, it's a kind of English, mix of English and Hindi. But yeah, now it's available. And I think uh, many of the designing students will get benefited with this Hindi version of the book.
where can a person order this book?
Both books are available on Amazon, easily available.
Thank you, Gopal, for joining us.
It
And
was my pleasure.
friends, that was Gopal Dwivedi, author of Modular Kitchen Planning and Designing Guide, also a chef and a kitchen designer to boot.